You guys, since I entered college, I have gotten an A in every single theory or essay exam that I've ever written, and in some courses I got over 95% in the exam. You guys, that is a mad feat, because if you write theory exams a lot, you will know that you don't normally score almost 100%, because the lecturers love to say that as an undergraduate student you cannot know everything. There is still room for improvement, so they usually don't score you very high in essay exams. It's just like standard protocol. But you guys, I'm going to be telling you guys in this video my experiences, how I broke that barrier, how I answered my questions so good that they just had to give me that score. So if you've ever been wondering how do I write theory exams perfectly so that I can score really high, or perhaps you've just been struggling with writing essay exams and you've been scoring low, man, you've been reading so much and it now feels like the rate at which you are reading does not mirror the rate at which you are passing your exams, well, this video is for you guys. I came ready for you, I came prepared. So if this sounds like something that you might be interested in, or you know that you will write theory exams in the future, this is the video for you. Alright guys, so I will see you guys after the intro. I put everything down into points, so I will be telling you guys in points and tips. So my first tip for you guys is the fact that before that exam, or prior to the day of that exam, of any theory exam that I'm going to write, I've read every single thing already. So you guys, this is not an objective exam where they give you options and you just have to choose one. You guys, theory is very different. There is absolutely nothing like that. You're going to be given a blank sheet of paper, blank pages, and a random set of questions, and you're going to be asked to explain or define whatever is in that question in your blank page, meaning that there is no hints, there is nothing whatsoever. It's all from your head. So anything you don't remember, you're never going to remember, because there's nothing to juggle your memory or anything. There is no options, no hints, nothing at all. I'm only giving you a blank piece of paper to write on, right? So prior to these exams, I've read everything, as much as I could read, especially the things that lecturers put particular attention to or explain more, or also focus on more. So I've read those things very well. I've practiced before I got to the exam. Basically, I've answered these questions, I've answered past questions, I've done all of those. Basically, I've done the work, right? I've gone through past questions, I've answered these questions both orally, I'm writing them down, I've prepared. So I'm coming into the exam hall prepared. That's just my first tip, because I don't think any of these things are going to work so effectively for you if you're not even prepared for the exam at all. I tell you a particular tip and you're not even ready, like if you haven't even read, it's not going to be meaningful unless you have read. So this very first tip is very important. My next tip for you guys is a time watch. You guys, I don't enter any exam without a watch clock. Basically, I don't enter any exam without a timepiece, something that can tell me the time or give me an idea of the time. You guys, this is a timed exam. You're not going to go on writing this exam forever. It's not a one-day exam or a 24 hours exam. This exam can be like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You guys, I have to know the time, otherwise I will keep running out of time. I'm not using my time properly. You guys, a timepiece is very essential. I don't like it. Is so bad that I don't enter any exam hall without a watch clock, a watch, basically, because you might spend more time than you should on a particular question. I end up not answering a full question or two full questions because the time has run out, which is what we don't want. So you guys, when I get into the exam hall, the first thing I do after seeing all the questions is that I allot time to different questions. You guys, if for example I'm to answer 5 questions in the exam, each question is 20 marks to make 100 marks, and I have just 3 hours, it means that I have at least 30 minutes to spend on each question and an extra 30 minutes to go over all what I've written. So I allot the time, like it means from 12 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. It means that by 12:30 I shall be done with the first question. By 1 p.m. I should have done with the second question. 1:30 third question, 2 p.m. fourth question, 2:30 fifth question, and then 2:30 to 3 p.m. will now be used to cross-check all what I've written. But I did not, and I'm very strict with this. Once it's 1:30, once it's 12:30, I stop that question instantly. So I try to work within that time frame of that particular question that I have set, because you can spend an entire hour answering one question, and at the end of the day, you have just 5 minutes to answer the last question. The last question always suffers, and we don't want that, because each question carries equal marks. So we want to spread our time generously across all questions. So I don't joke with my time time during exam. Thirdly, so before I even start putting a pen to a paper, immediately I'm giving a question paper, I look through all the questions and I identify the ones that I know extremely well. Usually in an exam, like a theory exam, they don't give you 5 questions to answer 5 questions. Perhaps they might give you like 7 questions or 8 questions to answer 5. So you have the option of picking the ones that you so choose. And that is exactly what I do. I pick the ones that I know extremely well. I don't pick them otherwise. I don't say because 1 to 5 is the starting ones that I will start answering 1 to 5. No, I can start with number 7, I can start with number 6. As long as I properly indicated well that this is question I'm answering first, and I'm good to go. So I only answer questions that I know extremely well. And you guys, this is just a bonus tip. You can start the exam. You know, there might be questions that you know extremely well, and then there are questions that you know very well but not extreme, but you have a good grasp of it. And then there are questions that it's just 50-50. You kind of know it, you don't know it fully, but you kind of know it. Start with the question that you know extremely well. That's going to give you a boost and throw that adrenaline and make you answer the other questions. Plus, answering questions that you know extremely well will give you more marks. You already know that because you know that question very well, right? So spend your time, answer that question very well, and try to answer it as fast as possible so that you can make time for you to answer the other questions that you don't know as well. For instance, if I know a question very well, it means that I can quickly write it because I know it very well. Compared to the questions that I have to think because I don't know it as well, so I have to think. But this one I know it so well, so I can quickly write it and make out. Perhaps I might not even use the entire 30 minutes. I might use just 20 minutes because I know that question so well. I don't have to think or wait to reason. The extra 10 minutes that I'm getting from this question cannot be used to reason out the other questions that I don't know as well. So yeah, I identify the questions that I know extremely well and I start with them. You don't want to start with them last because if you say you want to start with the questions that you don't know so well first, you might end up spending a very long time on those questions, perhaps an hour. And the questions that you don't know extremely well, that you could have written so well, you now have just 5 minutes to answer them or just 10 minutes to answer them because you shifted them to the side and you took them for granted because you already knew them so well. No, write those ones first. Get your marks for those ones first, and then you start to figure out the rest as you go on. Guys, next is the fact that before I even start answering the actual questions in my answer sheet, at the back of my question paper, I write out important figures that I need to know so that I don't forget them. They have like important dates, important acronyms, theories, concepts that I know I will have to now build up on in my answer sheet. I write them out in small points at the back of my question paper so I don't forget these things. You guys will have 3 hours. It's possible that after 2 hours I might start forgetting some things, which will not be fair to you, of course, because these are things that you have read, but perhaps exhaustion and fear just really forget these things. So before I even start the exam, if I start putting a biro to a paper, I start writing out all the things I'm going to talk about in every single question. Like I take a particular question, what are the major things I'm going to talk about in that question? I write them out in points, important figures, important days, important figureheads, names I need to know. I write them all down of all the 5 questions. For instance, if it's 5 questions, before I start answering. That way, even if it's 2 hours 45 minutes to the end of the exam, or it's 2 hours 30 minutes time to the end of the exam, and it's just 10 minutes remaining, even by forgetting every single thing, I still have that guideline for me to continue writing. Because the tendency is that once it's close to the end of the exam, people start forgetting a lot of things that they have read, a lot of all that tension and all that build up and anticipation and desperation. But because you're reading every single thing that you want to talk about in every single question, that won't be a problem for you, because then you forget everything in your head. Once you see the tip and the acronyms you read, it is sparks something up and you remember what you're supposed to write in that question. That's just a very, very easy, effective and good way. I don't miss out on doing this. I always do this in every exam. When it takes me 10 minutes out of my exam to write this out, I do it. So I've had scenarios where I've forgotten some names, some figures, some important dates and all of those, which is very terrible because you know that you've read these things, and if you cannot provide it in your exam, you cannot provide it in your answer booklet, then nobody's going to know that you read it because you could not provide it. So writing those things out will save you from all that stress and all that trouble.